cracks visible, there's steam coming up out of the ground. It seems like some kind of a volcanic wasteland.
Why has this town been erased from history?
But this brought national attention to this town's bizarre plight.
And soon, it got worse. The Earth began to erupt.
Scattered across our planet are entire cities sitting completely empty, developments worth millions, underground metropolises that housed thousands, and once thriving communities frozen in time like post-apocalyptic Hollywood movie sets. Here are 9 of the most fascinating abandoned cities on the Earth. Number 9, Pripyat, Ukraine. If abandoned cities had a Hall of Fame, Pripyat would be its undisputed champion. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, and within 36 hours, all 50,000 residents of Pripyat were evacuated. They were told they'd be back in a few days. They never returned. What makes Pripyat so haunting isn't just the empty buildings. It's how perfectly preserved everything is. School desks still have homework on them. The famous Ferris wheel in the amusement park, which was supposed to open just days after the disaster, still stands rusted but intact. Dolls sit in abandoned nurseries, and books remain open on library tables as if time itself stopped on that April morning. Today, Pripyat has become one of the world's most famous destinations for dark tourism. Visitors can tour the exclusion zone and witness firsthand how quickly human civilization can be erased by a single catastrophic event. Number 8, Hashima Island, Japan. Imagine the most densely populated place on Earth, more crowded than Manhattan, more packed than Hong Kong, and then imagine it completely abandoned. That's Hashima Island, and it has one of the most incredible rise and fall stories you'll ever hear. Also known as Battleship Island due to its distinctive shape, Hashima was Japan's primary undersea coal mining powerhouse. At its peak, over 5,000 people lived on this tiny island that's only about the size of a few city blocks. They built massive concrete apartment buildings that stretched toward the sky, schools, hospitals, and shops. An entire vertical city devoted to extracting coal from beneath the ocean floor. But when Japan shifted away from coal energy, Hashima's purpose vanished overnight. The last residents left in 1974, leaving behind a concrete jungle that nature is slowly reclaiming. You might recognize Hashima from the James Bond film Skyfall. It was the perfect backdrop for a villain's lair because it already looked like the end of the world. Number 7, Centralia, Pennsylvania, USA. Centralia was a typical American coal mining town until 1962, when a routine trash fire accidentally ignited the vast network of coal seams running beneath the entire community. What started as a small fire became an unstoppable underground inferno that began eating away at the very foundation of the town. As toxic smoke started seeping up through cracks in the ground and basement floors became too hot to walk on, residents realized they were living on top of hell itself. The government eventually bought out most of the properties and demolished the buildings, relocating over 1,000 residents. Today, only a handful of people still live in Centralia, refusing to leave despite the danger. Steam still rises from cracks in the empty streets, and the ground is warm to the touch. Scientists estimate the fire could burn for another 250 years. Number 6, Plymouth, Montserrat. Sometimes nature decides to hit the reset button on human civilization, and Plymouth is the perfect example. This Caribbean capital city was thriving until the 1990s, when the Soufriere Hills volcano decided to wake up from its centuries-long nap. The volcanic eruptions didn't just damage Plymouth, they completely buried it beneath layers of volcanic ash. Pyroclastic flows and volcanic ash covered the entire city like a gray blanket, leaving only the tops of some buildings poking through like tombstones in a concrete graveyard. What makes Plymouth particularly eerie is how well preserved everything is underneath all that ash. Cars, houses, and entire neighborhoods perfectly preserved under volcanic debris. The capital had to be relocated, and today, Plymouth sits as a forbidden zone, where nature has shown humanity who's really in charge. The few remaining buildings still visible create an apocalyptic landscape that has become a haunting tourist attraction for those brave enough to venture into the exclusion zone. Number 5. Heracleion, Egypt. Here's where things get really mind-blowing. Imagine an entire ancient city just disappearing. Not abandoned, not destroyed, and completely lost to history for over 1,000 years until modern technology found it again. Heracleion was once Egypt's most important port city. In this bustling metropolis, ships from across the ancient world came to trade. But around the 8th century AD, the entire town sank beneath the Mediterranean Sea, taking with it temples, palaces, harbors, and thousands of artifacts. For centuries, Heracleion existed only in ancient texts. Historians thought it might be mythical until 2000, when underwater archaeologists discovered the city lying 30 feet beneath the waves. What they found was incredible. Massive stone statues still standing underwater, perfectly preserved temples, and ancient ships filled with treasure. Walking through the underwater ruins of Heracleion is like exploring Atlantis. It's a reminder that entire civilizations can vanish so completely that they become legends, only to resurface when we least expect them. Number 4. Craco, Italy. Perched dramatically on a hilltop in southern Italy, Craco looks like something straight out of a medieval fantasy novel. Founded in 540 AD, Craco thrived for over 1,000 years. Its strategic clifftop location provided perfect defense against attacking armies and offered breathtaking views of the surrounding countryside. However, the 20th century brought problems that medieval walls couldn't keep out. A series of landslides, earthquakes, and structural instability made the village dangerous to inhabit. Between 1892 and 1922, over 1,300 residents emigrated to North America. By 1963, the remaining population was relocated to a nearby valley for safety. Today, Craco has found new life as a filming location. Its haunting medieval architecture has appeared in movies like The Passion of the Christ and Quantum of Solace, proving that sometimes abandonment can lead to Hollywood fame. Number 3. Kolmanskop, Namibia. In 1908, a railway worker found a shiny stone in the Namib desert sand. That stone was a diamond, and it triggered one of the most dramatic boom and bust stories in African history. German colonists flocked to Kolmanskop, transforming the desert into a thriving mining town almost overnight. They built grand houses, a hospital, a ballroom, a theater, and even Africa's first X-ray station. For a brief moment, this desert town had amenities that rivaled European cities. The diamonds were literally everywhere. Stories tell of people walking around at night with lanterns, picking diamonds off the sand like shells on a beach. Kolmanskop became one of the wealthiest places in Africa. But, like everything, diamonds don't last forever. By the 1930s, richer deposits were found further south, and the residents of Kolmanskop packed up and left as quickly as they had arrived. The desert immediately began reclaiming the town, with sand dunes pouring through doorways and filling up rooms like a slow-motion tsunami. Today, Kolmanskop is half buried in sand, creating some of the most surreal abandoned buildings. Number 2. Derinkuyu, Turkey. What if an entire city existed beneath your feet and nobody knew about it? That's exactly what happened in Turkey's Cappadocia region, where the massive underground city of Derinkuyu remained hidden for centuries. Derinkuyu is an enormous subterranean metropolis that extends 18 stories deep into the earth and could house up to 20,000 people. It has everything a city needs: homes, churches, schools, stables for animals, wells for water, and even ventilation systems that still work perfectly today. Built over 1,000 years ago, Derinkuyu was designed as the ultimate hiding place. When invading armies approached, entire communities could disappear underground, sealing the entrances behind them. The city was so well designed that people could live comfortably underground for months. The city was lost to history until 1963, when a man renovating his house knocked down a wall and discovered a tunnel that led to this massive underground world. Today, visitors can explore multiple levels of this buried city, though many areas remain sealed and unexplored. Number 1. Oradour-sur-Glane, France. Our final abandoned city is different from all the others because its abandonment wasn't caused by economics, disasters, or resource depletion. Oradour-sur-Glane stands as one of history's most powerful and heartbreaking memorials to human cruelty. On June 10, 1944, Nazi SS troops surrounded this peaceful French village and committed an unspeakable atrocity. In a matter of hours, 642 innocent civilians, men, women, and children were unalived, and the entire town was burned to the ground. Today, the village remains frozen in time. Burnt-out cars still sit in the streets, melted church bells lie where they fell, and bullet holes still mark the walls. It's not a tourist attraction in the traditional sense. It's a sacred space where visitors come to remember and reflect.